Family, this is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa. So, it's a big here about, America's economy and, is America going to fall? You know, uh, Rest assured, life is going to go on. Whether the dollar doesn't do well or not, life is going to go on. But there are indicators that are out here, family, that a lot of you all just don't know because maybe you're not educated in the economies, or you're not involved in investings, or just don't really understand how some of these systems in place work. I don't claim to be an expert in any of it. I've lived through a few, if you want to call depressions, if you will. They don't like to call them depressions these days because they know it's going to instill a lot of fear, you know. So they call either market corrections, these little chimey words in order to try to make it seem safe, that people don't get caught up into a fear, which causes even that much more of a disruption in the economy. So, but for those who's at least old enough to remember the housing bubble that burst in 2009, what effect it had. For you all who's just last year seeing the effects of what COVID did in the inflation of things costing more, so you even have experience. But a lot of people don't sit back and really discern the behaviors of people. And that is the key. What effects does the industries have on you when these so-called the stock market or the banking system, the housing system begins to change and behave differently? What effects does that have on you? Now, most people, they don't think it has an effect because we don't pay attention to, the cost of living or access of getting money through loans like that. Trying to obtain property, buying, whether it's rental property, buying businesses, that you're going to find that the market will either slow down, meaning that they're not going to, give out a lot of these loans, or it's open to give and a little bit more liberties in giving loans. A lot of people don't understand that. But for the common man that is out here, let me break it down for you. All right. Again, I'm not one of these guys out here who shoots a lot of stuff outside of their neck. They talk big words. They talk things like you're like, I don't get it. In its simplistic forms, understanding what it is that's going on, I can break it down to you easy. All right. Currently, you're seeing now Wells Fargo, one that's probably leading the pack, Bank of America and all, they are now starting to do away with the credit lines of credit. Okay, what is a line of credit? A line of credit is nothing more than a person what they consider your value is, or your credit is, that you can go ahead and open up a line of credit that you can borrow from, pay back, borrow from, pay back, borrow from, pay back. And you can pay back according to whether it might be incremental. You can pay back it in advance if you want. You can pay it back at a certain duration, but it behaves differently than a regular loan that you would go get. Now, typically they say lines of credit might have a little higher interest rate, but there are benefits when it comes to getting a line of credit over just a regular loan. Now, Wells Fargo just recently claims that they did this so that they can make it more beneficial for their customers to have more opportunities in the credit card industry than the credit line industry. Woe to the man who don't understand what that means. Really, the credit card will keep you longer in debt than a credit line will. See, a credit line can be used for basically anything. Going to get a loan, you have to use it for something specific. But in that credit line, you have the liberty to pay it off. It stays open. You can go get it. You can You can use your credit line to go buy anything that you want to. There's no specifics really per se on what you can go buy with that money you're getting. But what they're doing is they're tightening up their money. That means then that they are now closing up all these credit lines because they really don't know the behaviors of when people are going to start using it. See, a credit card, they know when you use it, when you go straight to go ahead and use it, boom. But when a line of credit is open, they can't measure. So for instance, there's 10 people out here who got credit lines. Let's say all of them got $10,000 lines of credit that are open. That's $100,000. Well, you don't know when they are going to use it, which means then the money that you're going to use to loan that money to them, it's got to come from somewhere. And if you don't know when they're going to use it and when you got to distribute that money, it could prohibit you from operating in fashions that typically would credit line is that people are not like they used to. How do you know that, Go Black? Where does business loans, car loans, house loans come from? They come from your savings account. And if people are now, because when the dollar is weaker, that means people start now that, let's give you an example. Let's say you make $1,000 a month, right? You pay your bills, right? You pay your car note, you pay your house mortgage, your utilities and all that. And let's just say you got $150 left over. And you've been operating pretty good off of that $150. You might go out to buy yourself lunch one day, all right? You might take you and your woman out and, to dinner. Or the kids to entertainment place, the movies, right? Money spent, you're broke, you're waiting on the next payday. Because of inflation, that same dollar that you were spending last year, and now all of a sudden, inflation's hitting because of COVID, meaning prices have gone up. Your wife out to dinner, because now, guess what? The prices of the food went up from $25 a plate to $32 a plate. The movies prices went up from $5 per movie to $8 per movie. The gasoline went up, from $2.50 a gallon to $3 a gallon. Everything around you went up. And the little money you had left over that you were keeping in your bank, you're spending it. So the banks can't rely on that money. They can't distribute it out. That means then they have to come up with something else. These lines of credit is what they were banking on to be able to allow people to say, I can go ahead in my line of credit of a loan, go put money towards something, and I'm going to pay it back. They can't measure it now because they're losing faith, because they see that people are now starting to spend more out of their savings account because of inflation. Now, this is just one indicator. Now, I'm here to tell you this right here too, all right? Because I have people ask me about investings and stocks and bonds and all that. I'm out of that business. I got out of that business when I found out the truth about it. I tell people here, if you are not rich or have money to lose, you should not be in investments. Now, I know that people are out here and they got, money in crypto, money over here in some stocks and stuff like that. Do you? But I have found out that the corrupt system, because how do you know it's corrupt? Go back. Okay, all right, let's look at it. When the feds came in and fined a lot of these investment firms who were lying about their perspective, lying about how much they were worth, lying about how much they were making, and then they wind up getting penalized, that shows you that the stock market that is so booming right now that they're showing, it's all a lie. Who makes up the stock market? The businesses do. The corporations do. They're the ones that make up the stock market. And if these CEOs and those board members are fictitiously putting out reports so that they don't lose the confidence of their investors, showing that they have this amount of assets and they're doing well, that means then the stock market is a lie. And a lot of these companies are willing to lie and are willing to go ahead to take the penalty. Why? Who pays for the penalty? You. You're paying for the penalty. There's nothing out of their pockets. You're going to wind up paying for the penalty because when they have had their assets stocked up, which I talked about the previous video, in their assets that they have, they're taking it out of your investment, your pockets that you have built this company. Go black, but how's it, man? The common man right here, man, we out here just struggling. How is it going to affect us? I mean, we're not into stocks and investments and all that, but some of you all are. Let me tell you why the crypto right now is suffering. I'm going to tell you this right here. This game has been played and they don't even want to. A lot of people don't understand investments because they don't know history. Cryptocurrency is just like the stock market. It's a pyramid scheme. The rich keep getting richer and the poor keeps getting poorer. Why? The common man who goes in and invests his money don't even understand most about investments. The common man puts his money in and he behaves basically out of fear when it comes to his stock or his mutual fund or his portfolio begins to show signs of going down. And because he had been putting his little money away, he don't want to take a loss. But he doesn't understand that is if you go ahead and sell out, you take a loss. If you sit tight, you may be able to recover if it bounced back with a big if. Why? There's a lot of things that can happen when it comes to giving people your money and giving them the opportunity to do with your money what they so please. Why? Because the top is going to be taken care of first when it comes to losses. Then it trickles down to you, the common man. See, this whole thing when it came to the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, and why the Bitcoin dropped and all right there. See, when Elon Musk came out and made a statement, when they have these people make statements, intentional statements, which they pay these people to say, which causes a frenzy in the market, fear, people begins to start to sell off. But what they did in the cryptocurrency, because a lot of these guys that are high who got the money in the crypto, and they see that it is not as receptive right now at this point in time, they can go ahead and get rid of some of theirs that they so choose. Why? Because they know people like you are going to buy it. Because when they got Elon to say that, this is going to do bad, that ain't don't look good, this and that, then everybody reacts off of it. Those who got a lot of it begins to throw it out. Because they know it reached this peak in the 61,000, I think it got up to. I can sell this off. I know the poor man is going to be trying to buy some of it, thinking it's still a deal. And then when it's all of a sudden now their fears, when the poor man begins to have the fear and he begins to sell off, they turn around and buy it back for cheaper. It's the cycle game. In other words, I need to make more money. We need to move this crypto where it's just sitting here, not making much advancements. We can put a fictitious voice out there, do fictitious reports out there, speculations that aren't even true. And then all of a sudden now the poor man who don't know much about nothing, who's afraid to lose his money, he begins to behave and getting rid of or buying and don't even realize he was suckered. was taking advantage. Don't even realize that the rich people played the game, the net. This is what they did. They cause a scare. People start selling. Prices start dropping. The rich man sits back, and then when the time is right, cast the net, gathers up all of y'all's cryptocurrency. They stack it right there. Now, all of a sudden now, when he has more than enough and decides now that it's time to put a report out there now, a good report that people will be interested in buying, we're going to put information out there that now these rich people who's in these companies, they're going to now buy into the belief system of the cryptocurrency, and they're going to say they're going to subscribe to it. They now have bought some of the cryptocurrency. Your now confidence begins to build, and now you start to buy some of the cryptocurrency. But you just sold off yours, and now you got to buy it back. But the prices are going up. And guess who's going to sell it when the price goes up? The rich man. You got it. Because they bought yours from out of your hands when it was low and turn around and sell it right back to you while it's going up. This is a mastermind game that very few people want to understand and play. That's why I said the best investment that you ever can do is invest in yourself. We got to stop putting our own hard-earned money into a system when all you got to do is invest in you. I used to be in that system. I took my bumps and losses. I took my gains and my wins and my losses. What I found out, family, was that even if the bank is giving little to no interest, sometimes the bank account can be a safe haven at that moment in time until you can find out what you need to do with your money. You see, stocks and this Dow Jones is just only one means of investing. That's why I like real estate. Because even though real estate does this, you better believe it's going to go up. Stock market goes up. But with the real estate, you have control, full control what you want to do with your money. When you have stocks and bonds, you have a broker who is in charge of your money and picking and choosing where to go ahead and diversify your money. This is why I'm saying that you can even go over to Africa, buy a lot, $700, $1,000, $2,000, and just sit on it. Why? Do you not think Africa's property is going up? You can go in some of these other countries, buy land, buy a house, buy property, and diversify your money, and it don't take a lot. All it takes is a know-how. Because if the market of damn Erica goes down, you at least have diversified another country where you got something that it might be doing okay. This is diversification. And so this whole scheme of things was going on that you don't realize that your dollar is getting weaker. That every dollar you make, and as the inflation's going up, it takes more dollars to put together to buy that product. That means you're going to be buying less. I hope some are getting this. So then that you need to figure out, what can I put my money into that can bring me a better return to make that dollar, to boost that dollar back up. That's what investments is about. That's why when people go buy gold or buy silver, in the hopes that when the dollar gets weaker, that people start to buy into these commodities of gold and silver, those go up, and then all of a sudden it can you can go ahead and balance it to where this now has given you a good return when you're not getting good returns here in the dollar. So that then when you cash out of this, start cashing out of your gold or your silver, it's made up the difference of the loss of the weak of the dollar. Now, some say that, we are, you know, encroaching on a market that we're going to be weak, and people are going to start to now, are going to try to hold on to their money and do less spending. When those happen, you're going to start to be watchful of the things that you're going to need in order to survive. Food and water is the main sources that a man needs to survive, first and foremost. And as you noticed last year when COVID hit, when the shelves were bare empty, did you take note of these people were taking in order to survive? Now, the interesting thing that I laughed at, and I made note of it last year before I started my channel, and I told my wife, I said, it is amazing that people don't know how to survive. They're going to the stores. What we saw people going getting toilet paper. Y'all remember that? When the toilet paper, oh, see, somebody just said it. Dominique just said it. As soon as that just popped up, that toilet paper was on the top of everybody's list. I went into the grocery stores. I could get water. And even though water was starting to go down, but people were going to get sodas, snack foods, which told me these people don't even have a clue on how to survive. But I'm going to tell you all what you need to be doing so that when things begin to slow up when it comes to the spending, but yet things get a little bit more expensive and then people are going to start to spend in order to survive, what do you need? What is the number one food when you see these charities go over to countries where there are poor people and they got the plane and they drop out of the sky? What is the thing that they typically, what food is it that they typically will drop out of the sky? Thank you very much there, Heather. Was it Heather material? Rice. Why rice? Because rice is a starch product. It is a carbohydrate. It takes little you can have, but yet go a long way to give you that fat. Because if anybody knows anything about health, your body takes carbohydrates, breaks it down into a sugar, and then stores it as a fat. That's right, T. Davis. Beans is another source of food for that you should be going to the store and getting. Why? Beans are high in carbohydrates. It don't take a lot to eat to fill you up and will last a long way in your belly. People don't understand this. Flour is another one. Thank you there, NECY. Why flour? Because it's wheat. You can make bread out of it. Bread is high in starch. It's a carbohydrate. It will last you long. Corn is another. Potatoes is another. Cassava. Anything root. These products are the main source you should be looking for if people go to the stores trying to go ahead and buy up off the shelves. Go to your stores and get those products. Pounded yam, yes. Yams, potatoes, carrots, these starchy foods, flours, breads, rice, Beans. These are the foods that take, look, you find it all day long in Central America, South America, Africa. These are the main sources that people eat. Beans and rice, beans and rice, beans and rice, beans and rice. Look at the Jamaicans, beans and rice. Look at the Mexicans, beans and rice. Beans and rice is the number one filler that you could eat and can last you a long way. Keep that in mind, family, because these are the indicators that I see that things now are starting to slowly change. The news won't tell you the conditions of what's going on. They're not going to come out and say really what's the condition of it. They're going to keep saying the Dow Jones is the highest mark, it's doing great, and all that right there. That is bogus information. The banks are one indicator in knowing when they start to behave differently. Now changing the credit line or your line of credit and doing away with it and want to push credit cards into the hands of the people, you are in a world of trouble. You know, meat is the last thing you should be trying to buy when it comes time for survival. Meat is expensive. You bought what I tell y'all? I bought some ribs for my wife and them when I barbecued for them. A slab of rib was $20 for a slab of rib. And y'all know that when y'all go out, y'all eat half a slab of rib. That feeds only 2 people, and it don't only last you, as far as energy's concerned, that ain't gonna even last you 4 hours. You be hungry again. Because meat is not a carbohydrate. The only filling up it's gonna do is space in your stomach. It may be a source of protein, but it is not a filler for energy. You don't use protein for energy. For those who knows anything about food and what it's used for. So family, these indicators by what the banks are doing, by the behaviors that they see that you are doing, are great indicators to show that there are some things coming around the corner that you need to be aware of. That people are not saving as much because of the inflation, so they're taking money out of their savings to be able to make up the difference of what they're accustomed of buying every month. They got to spend a little bit more money out of savings, means that your savings are going to begin to dwindle. And when your savings dwindle, if you ain't got a lot of that, you're going to depend on the credit card. And then when you depend on the credit card, they get to raise the interest rates. And when they raise the interest rates, that's more money for them, less money for you. And now all of a sudden, you're strapped and broke. So what are you going to do when you're broke? You got to find ways to make more money, because the banks now are going to start to lower the so-called your line or your borrowing credit. They're going to start dropping that on people where it used to be $1,000, $1,500 for you. They're going to say, not no more, up $500. Now you maxed out that credit card. And now you're trying to find somebody else to give you another credit card. But the banks are saying, nope, we're not giving no more credit cards out to people. What do you do now? You got no money in the bank. You got your credit cards are maxed out. What do you do? Well, I'm telling you what you're going to do. You're going to do what most people are going to do. Start to sell off stuff to try to make money. Yeah. All those things that you put so much importance in, that you blew all your money on, now you're just going to start to smile at you, and it's going to start to look with a gleam, and you are now going to start to go to, you guessed it, pawn shops. Or you're going to open up you an eBay account. Yeah. This is what happens with the average person. Or you're going to start to see garage sales. Yeah. Because this is what people found, that they can wind up to squeeze to get a little bit of money. And the things that they thought, all the money they bought on, and they put them in the garage sales, or they're trying to sell them off, or to go to the pawn shops. What you bought that item for ain't going to be worth what it is when you think it's time for you to sell it to get the money back. Which everybody then should learn from the fact that, why are you buying all of these products out here that don't mean a hill of beans? See, this is the beautiful thing of that when if you go explore Africa and just to get familiar with the place, connect with people, see how little it costs to live there. If something by chance here happens, well, I got me my little money there in the bank. I can fly over there. I already know I got something established a little bit there. My money I got, I can just go over there. How about food? $5.80 for 2 meals, I think it is. For 2 meals, full meals, beans, rice, meat, and a little greens. So you could say, you know what? Jeez, I did my budget right. I saved up some money, but man, I'm in this apartment is freaking costing me $800 a month. Plus gas, utilities, plus this, plus that, plus this, plus that. And some of y'all work from home. By other means, over there and then save costs. Plus that, just $500. Now Africa. That's why I'm reaching out to each and every one of y'all. What's unfolding that is not going to jump on your way. It costs way more money today to spend right there, live over in Africa, $200, $300 a month. I can save and cost over there. I'm retired or I received a daddy, whatever. There's, we can relocate. Even if you might have small little money, we can band together to a different country and we can just put our money together and we can live in a place and we could grow. This is how you do in Africa. See, in America, it's every man for itself. See, when you bond together and be like, shoot, mama getting Social Security, daddy getting Social Security, I got me a little money coming in, or I work from home, or I got this little business, got me a little savings. Yo, let's just go over there and wait till this whole daggone high cost of living either goes down or we can go over there and save some more of this. We're putting all this money out when we can band together and go an apartment $200-300 a month, rent a house. I'll show y'all the houses there in Tanzania, $350 a month for a 4 or 5 bedroom house in a nice compound. Go look at my videos. So you think about that diversifying, family? I'm telling you right here, think about your options. How to save a buck. Because the dollar is definitely weak. That dollar is definitely weak. Now people say, well, the money you got in your savings accounts that means that's weak too. Not necessarily, not if you spend it in a different country. Because the dollar could be strong in another country. In the most African countries I've been to, majority of them, except for a couple of them, the dollar is strong. So you gonna take your money out of your savings and spend it here in expensive America, where you could take that same money in your bank account and spend it over there in Africa and get twice as much because the dollar is strong. Even though it's weak here, the dollar could be strong somewhere else. With that, family, this is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa. I catch you all later, and y'all have a blessed